Dailies today's show here on Nigeria Info 99.31. Last time for the week because it's Friday. I'm Sheriff Quadry. What's going on? What's happening? Say something again. Chum, chum, chum. Chum, 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 chum. Your mic is dead.
Hello?
What's going on?
Hello?
What's happening to your mic?
This is a grand conspiracy.
Your mic is back.
My mic is back. Morning, everybody. My name is Jimi. Disu. You're welcome.
Yes, Lagos, apologies for the technical hitch, but we're back now, right? Okay. You can watch the show on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch on those platforms. And let's know what you think about the stories that we're about to bring your way. We start with the Punch newspaper, the third page of the Punch. Nigerians, collect your PVCs. Vote.
Well, this is the Punch editorial. And I'm glad that it's coming this early because it appears from discussions that you have with people that quite a number of people have said that, oh, I will no longer take part in elections. After all, it's going to be rigged and so on and so forth. The sad thing is that you can't sit on your ears. That is what the politicians actually want you to do. They want you to sit back so they can use your vote to fill up the numbers. So you have to be tenacious about it. You have to be determined that I'm going to have my say in who governs me. So I'll say, don't despair. Don't just sit on the fence and say, oh, look at what is happening. Things are bad. People are voting for money. You go and satisfy your conscience, meaning that if you cast your vote, you know that you for all that is worth, you have played your own part. It's like asking some of us now to just sit at home and say, why go to work? Why do reviews and so on and so forth? What will be, will be. That is not a good way to look at it. And the point in this editorial says that fresh disclosures by INEC that over 6 million PVCs were not collected by voters ahead of the 2023 elections, including those issued since 2015, are disturbing. You know, very, very disturbing. All manners of things were put in the way. I couldn't collect a PVC. I struggled, I fought, I blackmailed Mologun. I still didn't get a PVC. I contacted my ancestors. I quickly ran to my friends in Makoka to help me contact Amadioha. I couldn't get my PVC. So, but we must stay determined. We just must stay determined. And the point adds that in a country where candidates win elections by a little below or above 1 million votes, 6 million uncollected PVCs are huge and can make a significant difference. For a robust democracy, Nigerians should fulfill their civic obligations by collecting their PVCs. You should make sure that you vote in the next election, and they do an analysis of the reasons why some people haven't collected their PVCs. And this includes, it says that the issues responsible for the non-collection of the 6 million PVCs are deeper than INEC would want to admit. At its introduction, the collection of PVCs was a cumbersome and torturous exercise. Ask me. I kept phoning somebody in Yabad, referring me to somebody in local government. I was going back and forth like a yo-yo. The news was replete with the pains Nigerians went through to collect PVCs, and the collection seems politicized. At least in Lagos, it seems so, which is sad. Okay? When I saw this paragraph, I sat back and I said to myself, oh my God. It says here, we elected our president, the current president, we elected him with a lean 36.6%. And this is where I'm going to doff my hat to the genius of Ibrahim Babangida when he came up with those two parties, a little to the left and a little to the right. All that Babangida put forward at that time, with the benefit of hindsight, would have saved Nigeria from where we are now. if you had just two major parties, nowhere for you to maneuver, I think we would have had a better democracy. You see, my belief about democracy is that you can't come and implant democracy as designed in one country on another, because there are variables. There are variables which make it different. I think that we should have been thorough with the two-party system and the operation, what was it called? A4 system. Option A4, where you counted it 1, 2, 3, 4. You understand?
Yeah.
Crude as it sounds, I doff my heart for that gentleman. I just wish he hadn't nullified that election. We probably wouldn't be where we are today. You know? We wouldn't be where we are today. A situation now where we have one party and so many parastatals of the same party breeds a lot of confusion. It divides votes, because that's the whole idea. You set up parties to divide the opposition, and so on and so forth. And it says that lower registration and turnout occurs because Nigerians believe that votes don't count. Media reports say that the 2015 elections cost 75 billion of that time's money. 75 billion of that time's money. So you can jolly well imagine how much it's going to cost in 2027. The Punch also says that about 50 elections were nullified by tribunals. 50 major elections were nullified by tribunals. That also is a problem we need to look at. A situation where, elections are then decided by technicalities, not by fact. Because the law deals more with technicalities than facts. Because the law has no human face. The law is very strict, and it's the technicalities. You remember how Amechi emerged governor of Rivers State way back. So the INEC proposes the TVC. There's a TVC now that is going to replace the PVC. We have to bring somebody from INEC to quickly come and explain that one now. And it must weave workable instruments and campaign around these innovations. Faithful implementation of ePVC's use of national ID cards for voting, calling up voters to collect their PVCs, collaboration with NIPOST to effectively deliver PVCs, and introduction of online registration will appeal to voters' interest and make PVC collection easy. Final paragraph and a word for the wise. Listen carefully. Nigerians should not play into the hands of selfish politicians who do not want them to collect the cards so they can perpetuate themselves in power. Something for you to think about this weekend.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the media played a major role in the election of 2023 2 years ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, in advocating that people go out and go collect their PVCs.
Yes.
And we all saw what happened during the election, and that alone has put a lot of people who advocated for people to, for voters now to go collect it put them in difficult situation to want to do same again.
Well, yes, if what I went by, if what I saw is anything to go by, and considering that whether you like it or not, you can't take away the fact that I would have even been given a special consideration as this stubborn man who will go and make whatever on radio. I ended up not getting I was referred from Yaba. They said I should go to Shongotedo. From Shongotedo, they said I should come to local government there. They were tossing me up and down. Maybe the powers that be had told them, Emma Fumbaba in EPVC, we know where he's going to vote. And of course, people were targeted. These politicians are masters of the game. It was a well-designed program. Ethnic nationalities. There was ethnicity involved. There was religion involved. Because, of course, you had the Muslim ticket. And so it was well-designed and well-crafted. We did our job trying to encourage people, but our people too don't know how to be steadfast. Nigerians generally are lazy mentally. I don't mean that there's anything wrong with them upstairs, but it's always like we've had life so easy that that spirit of struggle is not in us. What has happened? Sense of entitlement has wiped out that feeling. Religion has even done worse. People spend more time in church and probably in the mosque waiting for a miracle than for them to have that zeal to go out and get something done. If we continue to do that, we will continue to suffer. So I'm one of those who believe that ultimately it's suffering that could push us to a better Nigeria. Those who think they're making Nigerians suffer today and are happy about it don't know that they're gradually building an army against them. And they're gradually building an army against them. And very soon, if care is not taken, push will come to shove. But in the interim, we must know that, like our good president says, nobody serves you politics a la carte. You can't sit back in your house and think that, it is them. It is them, it is them. What is sad about what we have is that with the level of suffering that we have, guess what? We have more people from my own interaction who are more determined not to get involved at all. So it means that you've bound by your own self, you've bound yourself to the Philistines, and your suffering will continue. So we will continue. You shouldn't wait for. Some people accuse me on Twitter. Of course, I don't answer these people. It was Jimi Disu that made us vote for Buhari. Did I put your thumb on the vote?
On the ballot.
On the ballot? It didn't. So the mindset that we have, where we don't have that fighting spirit, is where our problem lies.
So regardless, no matter what, people should still go out.
You should go out
PVC,
and get their PVCs.
ensure that they get their PVCs.
And stand by your vote. You
TVC,
have to be determined about it. Sheriff, look at how many years it took the South Africans to bring apartheid to an end. And whether you like it or not, when we talk about this, we must salute Nigeria and salute Obasanjo that he finally made it happen. I see people, the man has his faults like every other person, but our people are blinded. Whether you like it or not, Obasanjo is more of a hero than a lot of our politicians who are fronting themselves as being men of the people. He's made his mistakes, no doubt. But in his time, he has put Nigeria in a place where we should be. Pure and simple.
Simple.
And I'd love to meet the man. I've never met him. Never.
Okay.
I've never even seen him on a stage and miss it now. You don't know that I'm a bit of a recluse.
Well, you still do go out once in a while, yeah? You still...
No, I don't. How would I say in all my years of journalism, I've never met Obasanjo? And he's somebody whose leadership I cherish. Oh, he's made a lot of mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But I do cherish what he has done. Right from the time he was head of state, was a military leader. It's those who don't have a sense of history that always want to run him down. If you want to eat an omelette, you must break the egg. And some of the things that he did, he had to. You understand? He had to.
Let's go to our next story this morning. It's on page 10 of the Punch newspaper. Presidency fumes as Bauchi governor attacks Tinubu again.
Look, I don't understand what's going on in the presidency. You can't be responding to every criticism.
Everything.
That's not how it should be done.
You must attack.
I don't know. I think because he has a barrage of media aides my thinking is that rather than come together and have, one firm policy, everybody is competing to be heard. And what you do in things like this, what you end up, just yesterday I was at a meeting and I was advising some people on the social media and say, some of these things are done to draw you out. And it has worked. There are some things you just ignore tactically. The Bauchi man is not saying anything he hasn't said before. It all has to do with the politics of the new tax regime. And of course, you can't expect that everybody would see things the way you see it. But one thing we are taught in Imperial, sometimes silence is golden. Some people will say, oh, if you don't reply, it will look as if you have... No. It doesn't work that way. And so this fuming, it says that the presidency on Thursday described the latest remarks credited to Bala Mohammed regarding Bola Tinubu's proposed tax bills as irresponsible politics. The question is, who can cast the first stone in the political landscape and say they are playing responsible politics? Even those we love. At the end of the day, it's always about them, and them. Because once you are playing politics that doesn't involve thinking of the people, you are playing irresponsible politics. And it also said the president won an election and secured the mandate and would not surrender that to satisfy the palate of some pseudo activists and later day crusaders. This kind of language shouldn't be coming out of the presidency, for God's sake. Couldn't you pass this thing to the APC publicity secretary so that it's at the level of politics? What do you think the presidency is? I don't know. The presidency suddenly has been completely demystified. Getting involved in big bats and wasting valuable time. Get the job done. Highlight the things that the president is doing. Let people understand where he is going. Whether he's right or wrong is another issue entirely. Concentrate on educating the people on what is going on. This is just a diversion. And I wish somebody will pick up his phone and call Bayo Ononuga and tell him to stop this. The problem you also have, because there are so many of them, everybody wants to show loyalty to the president. And unfortunately, politicians, that's what happened in the time of Jonathan, you remember, when they had to recruit a bulldog to come and start punching everybody. You know, I heard some militants told, I wasn't there, told Jonathan, how this man go there, no go they abuse the people where they abuse him. They don't know that these things don't work. I do would love to bring Ruben here one of these days. And I was one of those who was defending him back in the day. That is not about, it's not about fighting for your principle. That's the wrong mindset. The presidency is a valuable asset. It shouldn't be rolling in the mud in all this political, because the presidency is above politics. Politics leads to the presidency. Once you're at that level, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of Nigeria. He's not the president of APC. Do you understand? He's not the president of Lagos APC or he's the president of Nigeria. He's father of all. He cannot be seen to be fighting, or cannot be seen to be fighting some of these petty fights because one governor said something somewhere about, because all he said at the end of the day was that him and his like, they don't support the new tax reforms. And they had liberty to do so. So I think this can be, it can actually be avoided. It can be avoided. It says Mohammed launched his latest attacks against Tinubu's proposed tax reforms when he received National Chairman Council of Ulama Jamatu Izalatu Bidao wa Ikanmatis Suna. Oh Lord, my jaw. Who paid him a condolence visit. Speaking during the visit, the governor condemned the proposed tax reforms, insisting that they would negatively affect the North, which relies heavily on federal allocation. What is the irresponsibility in that? He says it's going to affect his people. He has a right to say so. And he has a right for them to, that's what politics is about, to struggle to make sure that his people are not affected. I think we but everything is being demystified in Nigeria today. I mean, so I'm even tired. This job, we are doing this job now. No medicals. You got that, your guy. You cannot provide $23,000.
You have, but you have insurance now.
What insurance? Does my insurance give me $23,000?
Do we make $23,000 in a year?
If you missed our program yesterday at 9 o'clock, go and watch it on YouTube with Captain Blade. I don't know. The everything is, like Fela would say, is upside down. I don't get it anymore. But I would love a presidency, and I'd like to tell Mr. Bayo Ononuga, if you keep sending me releases, and 5 minutes later you send me a correction, I will block your man, Tiligiado, whatever his name is. I don't think the presidency should constantly be correcting itself on them. Read these things properly before you send them. Read these things. The releases you get from the presidency these days, you get one, then 5 minutes later you get a correction, sometimes over a simple caption of a photograph. Need to tidy up that aspect. I never liked the idea of a media office being so powerful and having a large network of people. I'd like a consolidated media unit that is focused, and knows what it is, what the presidency is supposed to be.
We're going to go pick up our next story, which I think would interest most Nigerians, especially the young people. It's in the Vanguard on page 8. Jackpot, Nigerians face massive Schengen visa rejection. This is according to a report.
They will say we have now gotten to our final destination. And the story here is not palatable. Listen carefully. Nigerians are facing significant visa rejection for intending travelers to Schengen nations amidst the growing rate of migration to developed countries, as half of all the visa applications to destination by Nigerians were rejected. Let me tell you the politics of it. You have so many Africans crossing the border by boat. So the quota that could have been allocated, is taken up by, and these boats go every day. Every day they're crossing the channel in dinghies, in canoes. One of these days, somebody is going to be on the channel in a bath. Yes. They are all that it takes that it takes for them to cross that channel is happening. Also, you must start thinking that the resources all over the world are getting leaner. And there is this new... Why do you think Trump won the election? Trump won the election mainly on the fact that he says he's going to throw out a lot of people who have entered America illegally. So there's this new national spirit that's going on all over the world. People don't want non-indigens in their midst. But why are you saying her? Don't say her. Is Nigeria itself any better? Nigeria itself, is it any better? In what part of Nigeria can you say comfortably non-indigens are at peace with themselves and with their hosts or hostesses, as the case may be? So it's a new phenomenon around the world. And the earlier you understand that, the better. A lot of, even in the UK, there's some nationalists that are springing up. I tell you this, Sheriff. Next time you're in London, observe something in the tube, in the bus, anywhere. Try and look out for a bona fide Englishman. What you have, Africans, Arabs, Eastern Europeans, Indians. Indeed, they had a prime minister of Indian descent. So all over the world, these things, and there are some countries now that are bracing up. Even Canada now is getting a bit difficult. Of course, also because it's been abused. So the story here says that half of those who apply are not given the Schengen visa. The latest Henley Global Mobility Report indicates that out of 105,926 Schengen visa applications submitted in 2024, 42,940 represented 40% of the total applications which were rejected. Another reason also is that a lot of people apply on a whim. You use one. The other day I was watching the Justice Court. This Justice Court that they do. Mm-hmm. And one man who he kept collecting money from him. There are all kinds of people that say they are agents, they are this and they are that. And so if you add up all these numbers, and also because when you apply for a visa, the main interest is to find out who you are. But in trying to concoct who you think that you want to be, a lot of contradictions now get involved. People don't understand that. Okay, so Your birth certificate reads Fola Jimi Disu. Your school cert result reads Jimi Disu. Don't forget, the Igbo man doesn't know the difference between Fola Jimi and Jimi, so he thinks that it's then when you went to Ahmadiyya College, you remember that, oh, your name was also Muhammad Bashir. You put it in. By the time you got to university, you don't want to do Bashir, you have become born again, you go back to Jimi Disu. These little discrepancies matter. They matter. I've had people who say, they get to the embassy and say, but you said your name is so, why is it so and so? Oh, no, this is the name that my father used to call. So, anyway, that's what it is. So, my advice to people is, if you want to get any of these visas, for God's sake, in reality, you don't need any assistance. Fill the form truthfully. It's not the amount of money that is anybody's concern. All this idea of borrowing money to put in an account to build it up, all these tactics. I know there was a day I was at the British High Commission and I heard a woman shouting at somebody over there, "It is Oluwole! It is Oluwole!" I said, "It is Oluwole! This paper is Oluwole!" Most of us now have to submit ourselves to the fact that staying back home might be the best option. Just look out in the next 1 or 2 years. Above Jakwa.
No.
If you want to go, talk now.
I've gone.
No, you didn't go. You visited.
Yeah.
Jakwa, Jawonu Bunker.
No, more bunker. Okay, so our next story, because of time, I will just give it a mention because we don't have time. Oyo Kingmakers reject fresh Alaafin selection process.
Unfortunately, we don't have time. But in just one sentence, I'll appeal to the politicians, please leave our traditional institutions alone. But of course they won't.
Exactly. I was going to say, is that possible?
So it's for our people to insist.
Yeah.
Now is the time for you to insist that the traditional thing, the kingmakers have carried out a process. Why should the governor reject? What's his business? I don't understand these things. Let me go.
Nigerian politics. All right. Well, you're back at 9.
I'm back at 9, but this is my next daily. My next daily whatever will be 1 week after next week.
You're taking a break next week.
I'm taking a break.
And you're back. You're back in 2 weeks.
No, I'm back on
Okay.
1 week.
1 week. Okay.
I'm just tired,
Okay. All right.
You went on holiday. You went for forever.
Deserved.
Yes, I agree.
Deserved holiday.
But he had Jimi. Oh, yeah, let me go.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Why did you say that?
Next time you're going, I'm going with you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Coffee is next.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.